into our third plant family, bottle brush. And bottle brush has a really unique flower shape that looks, funnily enough, like a bottle brush. And when you think about bottle brushes, I want you to, like we did with wattle, have a think about, does bottle brush mean something to you? Does it make you feel in a certain way? Do you love them or dislike them? Do you like certain coloured ones but not other colours? Is there anything that really stands out? Do you think of a connection with, for example, a physical bottle brush? What am I talking about? They're both physical. One's a flower and one's something that you clean a bottle with. I hope you knew what I meant when I said physical bottle brush. It made no sense. Okay, so whilst you're thinking of that, and probably are muddled up thanks to me, I just want to go through a little bit of information about bottle brushes themselves. So there's about 25 different species, and 16 are from New South Wales, so you could say that they're predominantly from New South Wales. The bottle brush shaped flower is actually a composite of many individual flowers clustered in terminal spikes. So Barno from the Living Essences suggests that bottle brushes promote strength of belief in one's ability, belief in one's own inner and true self. And we've actually only got 2 bottle brushes that we're looking at here, so it's going to be a nice short session. The first one is the Australian bush flowers, and the second one is the Living Essences. And when we're going through them, I want you to start to think about, okay, what are the similarities, what are the differences, what is the doctrine of signatures speaking about to me? Just an overview for you. The first one is the Australian bush flower essences. And what do you notice most about this? The leaves, which you can kind of see at the end of the terminal spike of flowers, is very soft, almost like a baby's skin kind of soft. If you've ever felt the new leaves of a bottle brush, they're pure joy to feel, fluffy and soft. And the bottle brush shape itself, think of what, I'm not going to say physical bottle brush, think of what a manual bottle brush is for. It's for cleaning out the gunk in a bottle that you can't get out very easily, yeah? So it is for releasing build-up that you kind of no longer want in there. Perhaps it's toxic build-up, perhaps it's, you've made something in a bottle and you've let it sit, it's got a bit gunky, it's a bit of floaties happening now, it's a bit feral, and you're wanting to get rid of it. So you get a bottle brush in there and clean it all out. So a bottle brush helps to release toxins, it helps to release things that no longer need to be there. So have a little think about that as we go through what this flower is for. Bottle brush in the Australian bush flower essences is for major transitional periods in life. So predominantly it's for transition of change, but it's also for parenthood and bonding of the mother and child. So that's kind of the 2 things that it's for, even though they're similar things, I guess. It can be a minor or major life change, pregnancy and parenthood. So think of times when there are massive changes and upheavals in people's lives. Adolescence, for example, which many people really struggle with, adolescence. Times when you change your perspective on life, change your relationship, how you see your relationship with the world at large, with your community, with your place in the scheme of things. Parenthood, pregnancy, old age, approaching death, any times when you're having massive transitions, but it's more about your relationship to life that is the difficulty here. the positive outcomes of this is basically having the grace to let go and let be whatever is happening, ability to cope in those moments. And I use the word grace, and for different people that will mean different things, but for me it's like pressure under fire. It is the ability to stand and choose to be centered, choose to cope, choose to, with any luck, be serene, be calm, have an approach that is that wisdom approach, you know, kind of an observation approach, rather than getting caught up in the panic or the fear or the anxiety, whatever's happening in those times of change. Kind of gather your resources. Take time when needed to restock. So this is about resistance to change, generally to fear and apprehension. If I'm no longer this person, what am I? For example, people moving into retirement, if I'm no longer kind of defined by my job, what am I? Of what use am I? How do I fit in to this new life? And for many people, that's an incredibly stressful time. Teenagers, for example, moving from a world sometimes predominantly feeling like it's centered around you to all of a sudden becoming aware of your little fish in a much bigger pond. And it's can be an incredible stressful time. So that's major life changes. Queensland bottle brush is in the living essences. So you can see it's a similar flower. It's a same genus, different species. And this is, if you look at all of those little flowers all in one kind of bunch, and the red, that tribal aspect, start to think about the larger community and your relationship to the community and your ease of relationship to the community. And this is all about being social. So enjoying the company of others and letting go of the fear or discomfort of being able to interact. And that fear and discomfort could come for a number of reasons. Some people weigh up the benefits of an association and will only enter into interactions if there's a benefit, if the kind of the cost-benefit ratio is in the plus for them. And so this is about kind of freeing up the need to expect something from communication, from the simple joy of relating to another. And it's also really useful for people who feel exhausted after being in communication with people. So some introverts that are quite extreme introverts, for example, find being social to be incredibly draining and exhausting. And this has been used to help balance that energy transaction. These are a few other bottle brushes from the Australite herbs, herbs, just to give you an idea of other bottle brushes that are out there. So one for promoting inner strength and freedom, one for promoting stability and balance. So you can see there's quite a lot of kind of strength in the flower itself. It looks like a flower that you could kind of jump on and it would be totally fine. It looks like an intense flower. So some of the similarities then between the essences, this is just things that I have picked up. You may have found others that you think are really important, and just encourage you to get into discussion in the forums about this. So similarities are encouraging change and promoting strength and the belief in one's ability. a belief in one's own inner true self. And that belief in oneself, the strength that comes from that, can be applied to lots of different situations. So even when you look at flower essences and they seem to be telling very different stories, sometimes the underlying lesson is the same. It's just the stories of who's presenting with that in a particular way is different. And so an underlying thing here may be the promotion of strength in the belief in one's ability. The difference is the stories. So with the Australian bushflower essences, one is major life changes, the other one is being socially comfortable. But you could see how when you have a strength in your own ability and you have the ability to move through change with grace, that you could have very different stories coming up, but the flowers could be used to support lots of different types of people. And with Doctrine of Signatures, we talked about the shape, because that's an obvious one with bottle brush, and I want you to really think about that. We also talked about the leaves as being very soft, baby-like skin, so perhaps the softening that's required in communication. And then the colour, of course, so we talked about red as perhaps a tribal energy, but also, you know, driving and energizing, the strength in red. It's a very strong, dominant colour. And then perhaps the white or cream bottle brushes being more calming and stabilizing, consolidating, was for promoting of stability and balance. For those who drive themselves too much, need to kind of take stock and fill up the well.